Year of the Rabbit is a weird, bonkers comedy about a Victorian murder squad who consist of Rabbit, played by Matt Berry, and myself, who plays Mabel Wisbech, and Freddie Fox, who together we just go around Victorian London solving all the sort of Victorian crimes that you would think of. So, you know, Jack the Ripper-esque crimes. And it's really, really funny. And Mabel has obviously been born in the wrong time because she's an aspiring copper, and that wasn't really a thing then for women to go around solving crime. And so she is just trying to be as good as the lads and trying to sort of find her place in the Met. When I first heard of the project, it was like 2017, and it was the usual kind of thing of going in for an audition. But I remember reading it, and I remember reading the part and thinking, oh my God, this is amazing, because I don't do period dramas, never mind doing a period comedy. And I'd never read anything like it. So, and I'm a huge fan of Matt Berry's. Don't tell him that. Yeah, so I just really wanted to be involved in it. But, you know, you have these preconceptions of like, who is Mabel in your head? And so that was really fun, going into the audition and then meeting Matt and working with him and trying to figure out who she is and, you know, what I could bring to it. So yeah, it was just a couple of auditions. Met Ben, our director, Hannah, our producer, and yeah, and I got the part. And so we filmed the pilot back in 2017. So it's been a long old journey, sort of doing the pilot and then waiting for everyone to be available again and then doing the whole thing and assembling the best cast ever. The great thing about working with Ben Taylor, a director, is that he's so thorough. I mean, he's directed so many brilliant things and sort of the proof is in the pudding, but he's such a thorough director, and he's a funny guy, which helps with comedy and isn't always the case. And very, very collaborative, and just a lot of fun. Working with Andy and Kevin, the writers, who I'd never met before, they are such a strong team, and they've been working together for years and years and years, and it really you can really see that and feel that in the script. And they have the world down so beautifully that actually there's not that much that you have to contribute in terms of the world. Like, everything is so brilliant, the sort of like mythical language of like these weird characters who appear and then don't, and then sort of die. But yeah, again, I found that on set, if there was anything that I came up with, I always felt like I could say, and they would tell me whether it was funny or not. And yeah, just by and large, really lovely people, which is just sort of what I do now, I just work with really nice people. If it's a show that's been written and directed predominantly by men, you'll always have something to contribute. And Ben, Kevin and Andy were all really cool at listening, because you have to, because there's a lot that they wouldn't understand. But there's tons that I wouldn't understand, because I was born in 1987 just. And I don't know about what it was like then. But yeah, it felt really collaborative and really fun. And also, like, if you can come up with something funny, that's welcome. We do the sort of usual thing where we do a big, massive table read, which is for the channel and for Channel 4 IFC. And everyone has a look at all of us, and we have a hear and a listen of everybody else. And then after that, we had a couple of days rehearsal, which is getting all the other actors coming in from different episodes, and we will workshop stuff. You know, the scripts are pretty locked at that point, but it's also really helpful for Andy and Kevin, our writers, and for Matt, who contributed as well to the script, to sort of hear things that don't quite work when, you know, sometimes something reads well, but then you say it and it's like, oh, that doesn't quite work. So that's predominantly what the rehearsals are, as opposed to, you know, this is the door and this is the chair, and like, there's no point doing that because we're in an office. So we do that both times. For the pilot and for the rest of the series, we had a couple of days rehearsal. And yeah, because there was a massive gap between doing the pilot and the rest of it, you do your job, you go off and you do other things, and life happens, and then you sort of have to return to this character. So I did, you know, I had to go back and watch the pilot and, you know, sort of remember the voice that I used and how I moved, because she's very physical but also in a corset, which I felt. And yeah, there was loads of things that I had to remember, because yeah, as an actor, as a writer, you're busy thinking about other stuff. So it was good to revisit it. It was so cold. So it was fun, yes and no. But we had to film in January, and I was wearing, Victorian garments, which didn't think about warmth. So it was freezing. It's very hard to be funny when you are just cold. So that was, I think, the biggest thing for everybody, was just trying to keep the energy up when all you want to do is wrap up. But, everyone's very, very naturally funny. And so whenever you felt that kind of dip when we were up against the elements, is, somebody would say something hilarious, and then I'm terrible for corpsing, which is just laughing uncontrollably. I'm really bad. I'm really, really bad. I'm really bad. Terrible. Really terrible. But I like to think that corpsing injects an energy to the set, and some people think it's a nuisance. It depends where you sit on that. But there was lots of opportunity to laugh and have fun, and it's so ridiculous. But the thing is that I loved about it was the scope of it. It's very, very ambitious. And so, if they say that we're going to have, this character dressed up as this thing, you have somebody, the team, just throw together this amazing costume and amazing props. And that was what was cool, was doing comedy with a budget, basically, is what I'm saying, because that doesn't normally happen. Going back in time, well, obviously there were black people in Victorian times, so, that's not the issue. What the issue is trying to be funny in a corset. How? No, it's so, I didn't actually think about how hard it was. And then I was there just not really being able to breathe or move. That was spectacular. And then you start thinking, God, and then women had to look after their children and, cook food and walk and, and you just think, I don't know how women did it. So that was the biggest challenge, actually, was the costume, because obviously we're trying to make things look heightened and fun, but also we're wearing all the undergarments and all the underskirts and, running from A to B with a bike chain, and I'm going to beat someone up. Sounds good, looks good, but was really hard to do. But I did it. It does look good. Do you know what? This process has been really cool, because a lot of the time when I am on set, or even not just on set, just sort of day to day, I'm sort of by default quite political, like my presence in a lot of rooms, because I'm like the only black woman in a room or whatever. And the thing that's been so great about this show is that, the joke is that Mabel wants to be the first female police officer, and that's just not a thing. And, she's definitely the only woman and black woman in the police station, and that's a thing. But all those things are in place because there's comedy to be mined from it, as opposed to it being like the issue. It is touched upon, but it's all to do with like the joke, or showing how cool she is, or showing how she beat something. And so what's been great about being in this show, particularly this show because of when it's set and everything, is that actually it's the least that I've ever felt political in a space, because it's all been about the joke. And it is that weird. The show is strange. It's so bonkers. I love it. So you kind of have to, that's the least of your worries. It's sort of the patriarchy. In a way, it does flash up though. So the way that I prepare for roles differs. It differs from whether it's film, from whether it's TV, from whether it's theatre. So I'm the kind of person who, I like being a bit of a good student. I like doing lots of research, because I kind of feel like when you have lots of knowledge, you can then throw everything away. There's a lot of freedom to just sort of know what's in your back pocket. But with television, a lot of the time, there's not that time. Sometimes you don't get the script until super late. And so the main thing that I work on is the script. Is you sort of look at your relationships with everybody, what people say about you, what you say about other characters, and I sort of mine that. And then that should give you, if it's written well, like You and the Rabbit is, it should give you an idea of who your character is. And then you ask the writers the questions that you need, like, where was I born, or if that's necessary. For instance, me and Alan Armstrong, who plays my dad in this, he's my adoptive dad in the show, we sort of just went, okay, so what's that about? And it's like, oh, he's just your adoptive dad. I'm like, cool, brilliant, all right, brilliant. Don't need to look up adoption laws in Victorian times or anything like that. So there are things that are important, there are things that aren't an issue, and so you just find out the things that you need to know and things that you don't. And sometimes you don't know them because we're not going to know them till series 2, fingers crossed, and that's fine. And I've learnt that about television. When I left drama school, I was like, I don't understand. Where are the facts? Where's the background? Where's our 50-year history? And they're like, we don't know, because we don't know whether it's going to get recommissioned. So why would we do the work, Susan? I'm like, okay, fair enough. So there's a lot of things about comedy in particular that you have to be very fluid and present with. And there's loads of things in the moment, like if Freddie will do something especially funny, I have to be not locked down in what I've prepared in order to receive it and play. So we're talking specifically about TV comedy. Listen. That's the big thing, because that's when you find the gems. As a writer, I think that I have a lot more respect for scripts, just because you sort of understand what people go through to write them. And so, like I said before, in terms of wanting information, I will always actually try and see if I can speak to the writer, because I created the thing. And so, there's just so much more of an awareness of it being created from somebody's head and wanting to mine that resource as opposed to someone else. When you first leave drama school, you first merge into the industry, or any way that you enter the industry, there's this real need to sort of, show as many people what you can do, how good you are, or like how much range you have, and I've just learnt that in terms of my career, it's only really been a few core people who've really seen what I can do and really understand me as an actor or as a writer, and that's sort of all you need. And then the work that you do with people who you trust and really connect with then sort of spreads out wider, rather than expending your energy. I kind of feel like there's going to be a few people who go, okay, I really believe in you, and it only takes one person. And I'm not saying hunt that one person, because that's weird, but I just feel like if you're on the right path, you will meet those people and you'll understand each other, and it's that's really lovely. That beats just getting lots and lots of jobs. When you find people who you're like, I want to work with you again and again and again, that's what's fantastic. So like finding your tribe, that can be other actors, other writers, directors. Nothing beats that.